Hello and welcome to Beyond the Numbers, your weekly look at real-life issues related to your money, your investments, and your retirement. Here are your hosts, Rick Ferguson, CPA and Registered Financial Advisor, and Mark Bellows, CPA and Tax Partner.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Beyond the Numbers
Good
on Money 105.5. Morning, Rick.
Good morning,
You're
Mark.
because your wife's home.
Yeah, exactly. My wife's home. So you don't know where I'm going to go today.
Anything could happen.
I could go everywhere. It'll be very, what? See, what was my word last week?
Absolutely.
What should be my work this? I don't know what my word's going to be.
I don't know.
Well, we'll see. As time goes by, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
It could be anything. Did you watch the Super Bowl?
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Yeah. I'm just here because
I did
You
watch
had to
the
go
Super
there, didn't
Bowl.
you?
That was an exciting,
Yeah.
one of the most exciting finishes.
Yeah, because we weren't rooting for anyone, so we didn't really care, right?
Yep.
Oh, I think you were rooting a little bit for Seattle, and I think I was rooting a little bit for the Patriots.
Yeah, it was iffy. So.
No, not really. But that was exciting.
It was
right?
a very exciting game.
I almost wanted, I think I wanted Seattle to lose a little bit more than I wanted New England to lose. I think.
That was
not sure.
That was not an uncommon sentiment out there
Yeah. So
amongst people.
they lost.
Yeah.
Or I think they're having the parade today.
In
I believe.
Boston? Is it
In Boston.
snowed in?
Yeah.
A snow parade?
I think so. My son
Snowmageddon's just got
had a snow day on Monday, his first day ever at the University of Michigan. A
He
snow day.
had or has?
He had his first one.
Okay.
Yeah, Monday. Monday was a couple days ago, right?
Yeah.
What's today, Wednesday?
Well, today's Wednesday. Yeah,
okay.
Wednesday
Monday,
morning
yeah,
we're on the
he
show.
had.
Yeah.
That's right.
There you go.
I don't know if you were my English teacher there or not.
I thought I was because I thought you said has, but I'm probably hearing wrong.
I think
Rick
so.
is with Ferguson Financial.
Maybe. Absolutely.
Registered, certified.
Yeah, an independent registered
There you go.
investment
That's
advisor.
okay,
Something
good.
like that.
Good.
And you're a tax partner with
tax partner with Galena.
Galena. Is it Galena CPAs or just Galena?
Galena LLP.
Galena
comma,
you
LLP.
need to drop the LLP from a marketing standpoint.
All we professional firms always have the LLP and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
It's
I
important.
have the LLC as a legal name, so that's part of your legal name. So why don't you just drop that and on
So
the
just say
marketing stuff,
Galena.
just say Galena.
Galena. That's what we do. Galena. It's all caps. Galena.
Galena. But I always say Galena CPAs.
Yeah, that's the uninformed, uninitiated,
And then-
unwashed.
Really? You think so?
Yeah.
No. I always say
Hey,
every time.
I'm
Yes?
shaving my head again this year.
And I'm going to give you some money.
Thank you.
How much did I give you last year?
Probably 5,000. So somewhere in there.
So this year, maybe $5 less.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Is he having a rough
Should I
year?
give you 6,000?
Yeah. I am trying to raise 10,000. This is for St. Baldrick's.
Yeah.
And the money goes
Great.
to Keaton Raphael Memorial.
Yeah,
who's cancer research, childhood cancer research.
We had them
and
on
about a month ago.
Yeah, something like that.
And so I'm going to be shaving my head March 7th over at Westfield Galleria, the mall in Roseville.
Can I come and watch?
Yes, do. Actually, it's kind of fun. And so my goal is to raise 10,000. So far, I've raised $4,510. So
How much?
$4,510. I have some very generous clients.
$4,510. So if I up my 5,000 to 5,005, I've almost met your goal.
Yeah, it'll be great. But if people want to give,
Yeah.
you can go to stbaldricks.org and look under Mark Bellows, or my participant number is 744-274.
Or you can send them that email you sent me.
Yeah.
Doesn't it have all the information
It
on there,
does.
and I can click on a
Yep.
link and go there
Absolutely.
and put my money in?
Absolutely.
March the 7th.
March the 7th.
I will have to do that.
Yeah, that would be great.
March 7th. What day is that?
Saturday. And there
is?
are a number of them around town. You know,
Uh-huh.
Roseville's not the only one. There's other
Right.
ones in
You're doing
Placer
it at the
County,
Galleria, you said?
Sacramento.
You remember, I only listen to like 20% of what you say, so you have to repeat it for me a few times. Where do you work again?
Yeah. Galena.
Oh, yeah. What are you?
LLP,
A tax
CPAs.
Yeah. Why not LLC? Why LLP? I don't care.
here we
Who
go.
cares?
Here
right?
we go
Are we
again.
a financial radio show or what?
Well, we are one of the top 100.
You know what? I did tell you that
Nation.
that one guy from Chicago called me up.
Yeah. So he wants us to go out there?
I tried to call him up, but I had to leave him a message.
Oh.
So I haven't got a hold of him
Doesn't
yet.
call back?
No.
Wow.
You know, in the Wall Street Journal today, there was a article about radio shows.
Yes.
Talk shows on the radio.
Yes.
And advertising and how it's starting to go down a little bit. I didn't see our name
That's
in the Wall Street Journal. I didn't see
surprising.
Beyond the Numbers.
Did they call you? They were calling me looking for.
Yeah, were they
quote.
calling
Yeah,
you?
Yeah.
We have to, I got to bring my bling in here. I have to put that in the car so we can put it up on the wall when we have our show.
And just remind all of our guests.
Yeah, we're
and
one
our
of the top.
producer
Yeah,
that we're one of the top 100.
100 financial shows in the U.S.
How fortunate they are to be on the show and to be working with the show.
Absolutely. What's happening in your world? What's happening? You know what we haven't done in a few weeks?
What's that?
A tip, like
I
a
know.
tax
I'll
or
have one.
financial or
I'll get one.
investment tip.
Here's a tip for you.
Okay, what's the tip?
If you have money overseas
Yeah,
and you need to bring it back,
yeah,
wait.
yeah.
That's your tip.
Okay.
So Obama's budget came out this week.
Yeah.
And one of the things he said was,
Did you read the whole thing? The whole thing? No.
You know, every year he has a budget that comes out, and then Congress pretty much never
Yeah.
goes with it all the way anyway, and it'll be less probable. It's
Sure.
less probable this year, even more so. So you just kind of look at it and go, okay, that's
He's setting
great.
a platform for future years, right?
But one of the things he did talk about is, which would be
Mm-hmm.
nice, is to let right now small businesses, anything under 10 million, can use the cash accounting, and he's proposing pushing that up to 25 million.
Okay.
Cash accounting is much simpler.
Sure.
And so that was one thing they did. I thought would be a great idea. He also said
Yeah.
you could write off up to $1 million of your investments annually, so which is nice.
Yeah.
So we'll see. He also proposed a one-time 14% tax on overseas earnings, the ones you haven't brought back yet.
Yes.
But two senators, which includes Senator Rand Paul
Yeah.
and Barbara Boxer,
Yeah.
together
Who? Barbara who?
on one thing. Hard
Hasn't
to
she
believe,
had it
right?
there yet?
No.
She
She's still
gone?
got another. Yeah.
God, she needs
Anyway,
to go.
they're going to introduce legislation to basically be able to repatriate overseas.
Yeah,
overseas
oversized. Is that like
earnings.
French fries?
Yeah.
Okay.
At a reduced tax rate of 6.5%, and all of that money would go to work on the highways.
Okay.
So it's another temporary tax holiday. They had one a few years
Right.
back. I think during Bush's administration, they had one. So anyway, there's over estimated $2 trillion overseas. And so what sometimes there's
All
some
in investment
sophisticated
accounts?
tax planning that you can do to put the money in a company and then have the company be bought by a foreign parent and then
Sure.
sold to a U.S. parent and then brought overseas. Anyway, there's ways to get to people have tried to get around it. It's pretty sophisticated. It doesn't
Sure.
always work, but a lot of times what happens is the money just sits overseas year after year after
Right,
year until
right.
they get one of these tax holidays.
Right.
and
Right.
then they bring
Exactly.
it back. So
Let's bring the money back.
yes, and there's another article in CFO that says multinationals avoid $12 billion a year in repatriation taxes. So a whole bunch of stuff about repatriation. It's back in the limelight again with the
Wow.
budget and with what Paul and Boxer brought up.
So did you read? So how long did it take you to read the new budget?
I didn't read it.
You didn't read it.
I didn't read
Did you read a summary that somebody else
I didn't
put together?
read a summary of something.
No. How about a paragraph?
2 sentences.
2 sentences. That's good.
Again, because he throws out what he wants. Chances are most of that's
Absolutely.
not going to happen. One of the things he's talked about his
It's a platform for
his
a couple
whole
years.
presidency is he wants to make S corps be taxed, earnings on S corps taxed for self-employment tax.
Okay.
That hasn't happened yet. He wants to have. They talk about things like LLCs and partnerships and S corps all being taxed the same because
Sure.
they're different. That hasn't happened. A lot of it's
They try to simplify, and what happens? It gets more complex, right?
what they should do is they should have some more meetings.
Yeah, exactly.
So here's
have
another
some
article.
more
It's estimated
meetings.
that senior
Hey,
executives.
Mark, can we meet later?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's meet to talk about this.
All right.
It's estimated that senior executives spend 50 to 75% of their time in meetings with each other. With
What-
each
what-
other. Yeah, that's good. Middle
How much
management.
again? How much did you say again?
60%.
60?
50 to 75 for upper management, senior
Yeah.
executives.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's amazing. And having been in the corporate world for many, many, many years. and, having my own firm for the last 8 years, definitely it was, you filled up your calendar, and if you looked at everything, it was like, okay, I'm meeting at 8:00, I'm meeting at 10,
Yeah.
I'm meeting at 2, and I'm meeting at 5. Where do I get my work
Yeah.
done?
It's meetings with each other.
Absolutely.
So one thing they suggested, this is an article from John Kaiser, who's a business coach. Suggested one, giving everyone an agenda 3 days in advance. I've never
3
done
days
that
in
for a meeting.
advance.
3
Okay.
days is good.
All
It gives
right.
people a chance to
That's
really
right.
prepare. And then says end meetings with assignments and timelines and distribute minutes afterwards. Those are good things he suggests that I think are worthwhile. But 50 to 75% of the time, meet with each other.
It is a lot of meeting time.
That's a lot of meeting time.
It's meet to make sure we need to meet again, because usually what happens at the end of the meeting, you set up another
the
meeting,
next
right?
meeting. Yeah.
For follow-up.
Yep.
And then you have to, after many years, you get kind of clever. You learn to put your calendar, like, I need to work from like
So put
12
it on
to
your
3.
calendar. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because that's where you get your work done. So if you're filling your calendar up and somebody's trying to meet
Yes.
with you and they see that's busy time, they're like, oh, they're in a meeting. They must
And
be
that's
in a
what I
meeting.
do is I put my
Yeah.
I block out time
have to.
periods to work. Yeah.
Because how are you going to get anything done
Exactly.
in that, corporate? I'm on radio. Why did I do
You
that?
did air quotes.
Why did
air
I do
quotes
that?
on radio? That's good.
Yeah,
I don't know.
whatever, right? You want to know a couple things by the numbers?
I do, but we're going to run out of time.
Oh, that's right.
So when we come back,
Because we're not that. We're beyond the numbers.
we're beyond the numbers. But we'll hear your Beyond the Numbers info right when we come back.
No, we won't. Yes, we will. No,
okay.
We won't. Yes, we will.
We'll be back.
No, we won't. Yes, we will.
Welcome to the Good Life Revolution.
Health, lifestyle, and finance.
GoodLifeRevolution.com.
Say you want a revolution.
Now, here's award-winning host and best-selling author, Jesse Dillon.
Join me each week as I bring you the biggest names and brightest stars in health and wellness and finance, lifestyle, and vital living. It's a ringside seat to the most important information on the planet.
Online at GoodLifeRevolution.com and Thursdays at 2 on Sacramento's Money, 105.5.
Need an experienced financial advisor to manage your investments? Rick Ferguson, founder of Ferguson Financial, an independent registered investment advisor, has credentials as a CPA, personal financial specialist, and accredited investment fiduciary, and a combined 30 years of experience in the financial industry. Call Rick Ferguson at 916-941-1535 to schedule an appointment. That's 916-941-1535, or visit our website at www.fergusonfinancial.com for more information. Experience, trust, results. It's what you expect.
As the decision maker of a closely held business, your responsibility goes beyond the numbers. You can't afford shortcuts or mistakes. Mark Bellows, CPA with Galena LLP, provides the insight you need to capitalize on opportunities, avoid pitfalls, and sustain organizational growth. Beyond audit, tax, and other traditional accounting services, Mark has over 25 years' experience providing guidance to businesses, families, and individuals. Call Mark Bellows today at 916-784-7800 to schedule an appointment. Contact Mark Bellows at 916-784-7800 today and gain the insights you need to achieve your goals.
Money 105.5 with Bill Cowan in the morning, then Money and Biz Talk all day. Find the program guide at money1055.biz.
We're back. Welcome back to Beyond the Numbers.
We did come back.
We did come back.
That's good.
Yeah. This is Mark Bellows, tax partner with Galena.
This is Rick Ferguson, owner of Ferguson Financial, an independent registered investment advisor. Like I said that so fast.
I like how you said it fast. Yeah. Do you have anything, any numbers
No,
before we introduce our guest?
I do. I think you should.
All right. Our guest came in today from a long way, so we appreciate you coming in. Our guest today is Tony Bartenetti, the COO and president of Nelson and Nelson Staffing.
Yes.
Welcome, Tony.
Welcome.
Where did you come from?
Where did you come from?
Danville.
Start
I would
when you were a
drive
baby.
lot further to come to be on the top 100 shows, financial shows in the country.
Absolutely.
According to Impact Radio.
Absolutely.
According to Impact Radio. Thanks for driving all the way.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to get here? I just have to ask.
Hour and 5 minutes.
Oh, hour 5? That's not bad.
Heavy foot.
Were you going 65?
I'm safe now. I'm doing better than Lance Armstrong.
Speed racer?
80 miles an hour.
We'll call you Speedy.
Well, as long as your wife doesn't take blame for the... Or did you hear about that?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, the Lance thing. His girlfriend.
The girlfriend took blame for...
I didn't read. I saw the headlines, but I didn't read it. So he crashed.
Hit a couple
something.
cars, and then she said, "Oh, I drove," and then finally she cracked. I said, "No, I didn't."
I didn't. She cracked. We're under the lights. We'll put Tony. Tony, you're under the lights.
But it's
Don't
interesting. Lance Armstrong continues to be who he is.
Yeah, liar.
So Nelson Staffing, thanks for coming. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Nelson Staffing?
Absolutely. We're actually celebrating our 45th year in business.
Congratulations.
So that's an exciting thing. We've survived.
You look a little older than 45.
Yeah, I feel it. The economic ups and downs that we've dealt with over 45 years, it's a credibility to the way we run our business. We run out of 19 offices in California and Texas, and we have an office right here in Sacramento that we're real proud of. So I was very happy to make this trip today. And I also figured that I was driving 80 miles an hour because I was making up for the people going 20 on the other side of the road through Concord and Vallejo and that area there.
Do you go 680 to 80? Is that the way you came?
Yes, sir.
I'm just trying to think. Did you have your fast pass? So you just kind of like went right through?
Right. Yes. Absolutely.
That fast pass is great.
It's Yeah, it is.
So how long have you been with Nelson?
I've been here for 17 years.
Okay.
I thought you were going to say 45.
I look like
no, he's way too young.
So 17
it's radio.
years,
They don't know what you
That's
look like,
right.
Tony.
17 years. 13 years prior to that, I was in the healthcare industry.
Okay.
And there were a lot of similarities when I came into this business from the healthcare industry and watching kind of cottage industry grow into a much larger industry. Right now, the the staffing industry in the United States is projected to be $120 billion industry just in the United States and $422 billion globally.
Now, I was asking you earlier off the radio if you also do executive search, and you said yes. So what are the different divisions within Nelson Staffing? Because that can be somewhat of a generic term, if I may.
Absolutely. So we do executive search. We also make contract and temporary placements with our clients. We have business units that are specialties in finance and accounting, with technology, and then we have our Nelson Staffing brand, which basically does everything else. And that's the the clerical, administrative, HR, legal, and then also production assembly and those environments. The other interesting group that we have is our iWork Global and our 1099 compliance programs. Firms put themselves at risk misclassifying employees as 1099s, and our group mitigates that for them and has provided outstanding service to many
Is
large
that mitigation after the fact, or is it helping them before the fact to make sure that they're compliant? Or
Ideally before.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
Mandatory after.
Yeah.
And the iWork Global is basically global compliance. So right now, as this family-owned company that I worked with based out of Sonoma with our primary locations in California, we're in 151 countries supporting clients with their hiring needs there to make certain they're compliant outside the U.S.
That whole independent contractor employee thing, I think, is a huge issue for businesses starting up, businesses that tend to use. I mean, even if you look at, we were talking about golf there for a second. Caddies are independent contractors. I don't know if you really looked at the requirements. I don't know if you would consider them independent contractors, because a caddy is going to go, okay, you're playing in Australia Open. Okay, I want you to be there at 8:00. I mean, it has some components of being an employee, but I think those issues are huge, and it's kind of very interesting that have a special group handling those types of issues.
Right, and it's not to stop you there.
Yeah,
but
please do.
It's very interesting because you look at a caddy example. I mean, does that caddy help other golfers? So do they have other clients? Are they using their own tools, or are they using the tools of that golfer? That type of. Does the golfer require them to check in at a certain time and leave at a certain time, or do they just want them to get the work done on time?
Right. There's like a 20-item checklist that you kind of go through when you're trying to figure out between.
Fourth hole. Fourth hole's fine.
That's right. You can finish with Arnie and then come to me.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, think about it, right? They must have a certain, how does, never mind. We could talk about that the whole time. The other question that popped into my mind too, you were talking about HR and different components of that. So is that an outsourced type of product where, let's say somebody, it's a small company, it's up and running, they're hiring people and they want to outsource the HR function? Do you handle that as well, or is that?
Yes, we do. That's not as much our scope, but part of what allowed Nelson to grow the way it has is that we're very entrepreneurial, and we listen to our clients for what they're looking to achieve. And if it's just right there, we can usually create a solution for them. So we have been in that. We've also been involved in the outsourcing of sourcing. For example, there's a large company in the Peninsula Bay Area there that I cannot name that needs recruiters to find talent for their team. And what we've done is staff them up over 125 recruiters so they can source the talent to place within their organization. So they want a flexible team, and they go through us to acquire that team. And then when the project's done, they will relieve that team of duty, and then we're on the hook for all the unemployment.
So you're right. So you're providing solutions to your clients. So it's a big thing when you actually listen to your clients, and not pretend like you're listening to your clients, but actively listen to them and say, okay, let's talk about it. Let's meet, right? Let's meet. Let's have a meeting.
Right.
But you're not meeting with your CEO. You're meeting with your client to find a solution as it relates to, hey, maybe we can staff you up with the recruiters you need to hire the people that are right for your organization.
And then your organization is flexible enough that it can allow people to have the entrepreneurial aspect to pursue something like that may be outside the norm.
Yes, that's one of the things we would look at as a differentiator, is that we're the right size for most companies, because we're not so big that you have to fit into our way of doing things, that we've got this great system we created that we knew you needed when you didn't know you needed it. Now you need to fit into it.
Yeah.
And we're not really listening to you because we're worried about what our shareholders are saying. We're truly, as a company, listening to the clients and able to build what they need, because we're not so small that we don't have the resources available to us and the 45 years of experience behind us, that we can actually creatively come up with really nice solutions. And that's been something that has allowed us, outside of all the meetings, to really grow our client relationships and sustain them for multiples of tens of years. So we have a lot of clients that are over 20 years with us.
And you're screening a lot of people to hire people to eventually, hire people, but to have them on your list of available for your clients. So what kind of screening process do you go through to find those types of people? You do job fairs and other types of events?
That's a big question. So
I know.
Think about right now with the unemployment rates, the way they've dropped in California specifically, and over 4 percentage points in the last 2 years, going through, my numbers are through 2014, September of 2014, and just looking at Sacramento, that's right around 7 or 6.9% unemployment, down 4% from where it was. So the talent out there is a lot harder to find. So we're having to do a lot of creative things through using social media to create talent communities where we can find talent. We're not a true headhunting firm, kind of going back to one of your other questions, where we're not looking to pull people out and raid companies, because we have a lot of client companies you can't do that to.
Right.
So we're looking for people who might be in a job that kind of thinking about leaving right now, and they find us. Those are the people we like to help. So the more passive, or more not passive, but the people who are really looking for work. So, and to answer your question, hitting university, looking at veterans, looking at other community-based organizations where we can find candidates to place on these jobs. Referrals are huge. We get referrals from our clients. We get referrals from our friends in our neighborhoods. All of those things. And then when you create a specialty within a niche, you become the go-to company to go to get a job in the wine and spirits industry, because people know you work with over 250 wineries, that type of thing. So it's even bigger than that, because to find the talent that's placeable right now, it's
a challenge, isn't it?
It's the biggest challenge for our business. The pendulum has swung in the other direction. It's a candidate's market. It's time for people to get paid. It's time for people who held on to those jobs they didn't like 4 years ago because they had nothing else that they could get, that they can move to another job now, get paid, and
so I think we're seeing that out there in the economy. It's people moving to, like you say, more what they want, and people commanding higher salaries, better benefit packages. I know that we see it with our firm and with accounting personnel out there, is that there's a demand for them, and so you really have to kind of increase what it is you've been doing, as an employer.
Right. Would you also be? I just have like millions of questions in my head. It's kind of just all popping there at the same time.
Fire away. I got a lot of answers.
Which is always good. I always like to ask someone questions that they have answers. Would you do the same thing for a company that's going through a downsizing? Would you go in and help educate and help them through that process and that change environment?
Absolutely. I mean, that's not something we're known for, but we have a program for when companies are outplacing folks. And for us, there's a selfish benefit to that, because I don't buy into the fact that everybody who gets laid off is not a worthy employee. And I hear that generalization often, and it rubs me the wrong way, because I know people who have been impacted that way, and they were very viable. It's just wrong place, wrong time. Right. People were looking at numbers only and not who they were taking out. So for us, if we can get involved with companies helping them with that, those folks become our candidates, and we don't charge them to work with us. We help them find client companies, and we charge the client company either a fee for a direct placement or a markup or a bill rate, whatever you'd like to call that, over their pay rate to take care of ourselves. So we can be great advocates for folks who've been outplaced by helping them with their LinkedIn profiles, helping them with their resume writing, helping them with their networking skills, those types of things that will help them find engagement somewhere.
I mean, you just see companies like, not that they're going through layoffs, but, the oil industry and energy prices and, they're looking or where can we cut costs? A lot of times you look at your labor costs.
We'll take a break here. When
no,
we
I don't
come
want to
back,
take a break.
We'll be talking with Tony Bartenetti from the CEO and president of Nelson and Nelson Staff.
Stocks are mixed with oil prices resuming their declines. From Bloomberg World Headquarters in New York, I'm Gina Cervetti. The Dow was up 24 points, the S&P 500 down 4, and the Nasdaq down 7 as energy shares moved lower with crude oil down 5%. Oil retreated after U.S. stockpiles rose to the highest level since at least 1982. Oil surged yesterday. Disney surged to an all-time high today on earnings. General Motors shares rose after the automaker beat analysts' forecasts. U.S. economic data was mixed. The services part of the economy expanded in January from the month before, but private payrolls grew less than forecast last month, according to ADP, whose report comes 2 days before the government issues its assessment of employment for the month of January. And reaction to the news that Staples has agreed to buy Office Depot? Well, it's mixed. Staples shares plunged. Office Depot shares moved higher. And that's a Bloomberg Market Minute.
For 50 years, Armstrong Plumbing has been Sacramento's choice for full-service residential and commercial plumbing. They master older properties and take on challenges that most companies won't. Their goal is to be your plumbing company for life. They are plumbers who can from a family who cares. See the 700-plus great reviews on ArmstrongPlumbing.net. And right now, Armstrong Plumbing's growth has created a need for seasoned plumbers and estimators to join their team. Call 641-0886, 641-0886.
Are you looking for straight talk and honest answers to your mortgage questions? My name's Eric McKay with Essex Mortgage. I have over 24 years in the corporate finance and lending industry, and I'm happy to be part of the Money 2.0 team. And don't forget to listen to my new show, Real Life Lending, every Wednesday morning, 10 a.m. on Money 105.5 FM.
Tune in to Money 2.0 with Eric McKay, Northern California's regional manager for Essex Mortgage. Hear Eric McKay, host of Real Life Lending, on Money 2.0 live 10 a.m. Wednesdays on Money 105.5 FM.
Every 67 seconds, someone in the United States develops Alzheimer's. And today, more than 5 million Americans are living with the disease. Have you thought about who would provide that care for you or a family member and how to pay for it? The cost can run $80 to $90, $100,000 annually or more. But there's an even greater expense. In 2013, 15.5 million family and friends provided 17.5 billion hours of unpaid care to those with Alzheimer's and other dementias. Due to the physical and emotional burden, caregivers had $9.3 billion in additional health care costs of their own. All told, 60 to 70% of us will need some form of long-term care, and Medicare likely won't pay. Contact my good friend Lynn Rowe, CFP, today and receive her free booklet and information on long-term health care. Call 877-270-3127. That's 877-270-3127, or go online at iwantmyltc.net, iwantmyltc.net.
As the decision maker of a closely held business, your responsibility goes beyond the numbers. You can't afford shortcuts or mistakes. Mark Bellows, CPA with Galena LLP, provides the insight you need to capitalize on opportunities, avoid pitfalls, and sustain organizational growth. Beyond audit, tax, and other traditional accounting services, Mark has over 25 years' experience providing guidance to businesses, families, and individuals. Call Mark Bellows today at 916-784-7800 to schedule an appointment. Contact Mark Bellows at 916-784-7800 today and gain the insights you need to achieve your goals.
Need an experienced financial advisor to manage your investments? Rick Ferguson, founder of Ferguson Financial, an independent registered investment advisor, has credentials as a CPA, personal financial specialist, and accredited investment fiduciary, and a combined 30 years of experience in the financial industry. Call Rick Ferguson at 916-941-1535 to schedule an appointment. That's 916-941-1535, or visit our website at www.fergusonfinancial.com for more information. Experience, trust, results. It's what you expect.
Phil Cowan, weekday mornings from 6 to 8.
I love Del Taco. I really wish somebody had just gone after her with venom.
And biz news talk all day. Money 105.5.
And we're back. Beyond the Numbers. Welcome, Rick. Nice to see you.
Yeah, can we meet later?
Yeah, let's have a meeting. Talk about
Tony
our next
said he
meeting.
would meet with us.
Yes.
He would be part of that meeting.
Yes. If you want to call in,
I'll put it on the calendar.
Rick's got to move his hand so I can read the numbers. If you want to call in here to the station, ask Tony any questions, 916-679-1820 or toll free 866-576-1055 because we are on Money 105.5 FM, part of the Wall Street Business Network.
Very good.
And we are talking
You're
today
hired.
with Tony Bartenetti, the CEO and president of Nelson and Nelson Staffing. If you want to get a hold of Tony, do you want me to give the cell number, the office number?
Cell number's fine.
Cell number, area code 510-508-4386. Don't call him right now because he won't answer. He's on the radio.
Maybe he will.
The office number is 925-460-8100. It's www.nelsonjobs.com. So you had mentioned that that the accounting and HR is that under the name Nelson, or is there a different name?
So
it's not Nelson Staffing because the staff.
Who is Nelson?
That's
the family.
Deep question.
Yeah.
So actually, we were founded by Gary Nelson.
There you go.
45 years ago, and Gary was from Modesto. And so we had great pride in opening a Modesto office about 10 years ago for a client who wanted and needed help there. So anyway, brought Gary back home. So Gary's still involved in the business as our founder.
Wow, that's great.
And he resides in Sonoma, and thus our corporate offices are up in Sonoma.
And he's probably 60, started when he was 15, right? Started
This guy, he seems like he's 23.
Yeah.
He's got so much life.
Young at
and
heart,
charisma.
probably.
Absolutely. A diehard 49er fan, and just a great person to be around. I have not met a person yet who doesn't like their interaction.
I'm sure Gary's listening. So hello, Gary.
Yeah,
How you doing?
I'm sure he is.
He might be in Hawaii. I don't know.
He could be listening from Hawaii. You never know.
This is one of the top 100 shows.
According to Impact Radio.
That's
Yes,
right.
You can listen to web streaming live online.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. He could be listening to wherever he is.
Of course, what's Hawaii's? How many hours behind? 3?
2, isn't it?
It depends.
Spring forward, so
do
it's
they,
2
do they
right
spring
now.
with us? Or
I
do they
don't
stay
think
back?
so. I think they stay back.
Something like that.
So we'll go with 2, and then if we're wrong, so what?
So to answer who Nelson is, just because you did ask that question, and it's part of why I've stayed at the company 17 years and why we have many people who have been with us for over 20 years, is it's a company that really likes to give back to the community. Gary has that's part of the cloth of our organization. It's a company that focuses on our clients, as we've already touched on, and just being very involved in listening to what they're looking to achieve and creating solutions for them beyond our general scope. And it's a company that values their employees and allows you to have that work life, I call it integration, as opposed to balance, where you get to be a family person if you choose to be out in your community involved, and also work hard for a company that's getting great results. So, I mean, that's what we call the Nelson way, is how we work and treat our clients and our employees, as well as our very important temporary employees and candidates that come through our doors. So the basic understanding we have is that anybody who makes contact with us while we're wearing our Nelson hat should feel better when they leave having met with us in a meeting than they did prior to meeting with us. So that's kind of how we look at, Mark, did they feel better after they met with you? That type of thing.
Because it's the Nelson way.
It's the Nelson way. How's that?
That's in my brain now.
Yeah.
But you also said you have offices in Texas too, though, right?
We do. And that's another thing. I mean, talking about the innovation, and it might sound simple, but going into a different state with different tax laws and different non-compete requirements and so on and so forth.
Laws,
Absolutely. Well, we won't get any deeper into the politics.
Yeah, we'll stop right there.
When you've got a client in San Diego who wants to make you their primary staffing firm and to staff up their brilliant studio in Austin, Texas, you do the numbers, you say, this makes sense, we're going down there.
And let's open an office.
That's right. So that's why we're in Texas right now, and we're looking to springboard out of Austin into the other cities around there. And if everything you read about the economy down there, it's booming.
It's doing very well.
Well, and you have the University of Texas, so you have a huge, institution there as well. I'm sure you do some things with.
Right.
In terms of job fairs and what have you. Job fairs are just on my mind. I don't know what it is about job fairs right now.
But Texas has a ton of studios for game development, and we do a lot of work with computer and mobile gaming. And they've got a big tech sector. They've been called the Silicon Valley of the South. So you've got that going on. They've got a real interesting music culture there. That's fun and interesting vibe down there, where you find a lot of folks that work at night with their music, and they need work during the day, so they're viable candidates for placement with our clients. And to answer your question fully, we have our brand is Nelson. So that's the family of companies is Nelson.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got Nelson Staffing, which does that general staffing,
Right.
as I called it, with clerical, administrative,
Right.
and then the production assembly. Then we've got Nelson and Associates, which is finance and
Okay.
accounting placement. And that's C-level on down in finance departments. And then we've got Nelson Technology, which under that group has Nelson Engineering and Nelson Interactive. And Interactive is creative, marketing, digital marketing, those types of placements. That all rolls up to Nelson Technology. And then we
Makes
mentioned
sense.
that compliance, Nelson Compliance, and I work global already. So
Right. Because like you were saying before, you're a solution provider. You're actively listening to your clients. So if your clients say, hey, we want you to be our sole sourcing staffing company, you start an office in Austin. I'm sure if someone came to you and said, we'd like to do the same thing in New Mexico, you would listen to that and hopefully provide a solution. So it's going down those routes in terms of what Nelson does as an organization from a whole.
absolutely. And if you find good,
you said absolutely too.
Yes.
I like that.
Absolutely.
See, thank you.
If you find a good
I like you, Tony.
collaborative client partner, you're going to work with them, and they help you enter that market because you're going to help them with something they're not satisfied with right now.
Right.
So why are we in Hollister? A winery needed some help in Pacinas, California, which most California natives do not know where Pacinas is. But we're in Hollister taking care of that winery. And same thing with Modesto. We had a client bring us there. So we've got successes we can share. And right now we're looking at an opportunity that's going to be taking us into Oregon. So, I see Nelson becoming a Western zone company.
Yeah,
where,
sounds like it.
Yeah, that's what I would see right now.
So if, for instance, the Austin one, did you could your people go into Austin on a Monday morning to start looking, or is there like some groundwork that has to be laid first to get ready when you enter a new market like that? Can you jump right in?
The answer is not absolutely, but it is yes and yes. So you can go in day one and start looking.
Right.
And it's ideal if you have a marketing campaign to get a buzz about you coming down there through Twitter, through Facebook, through the social media. So there's folks who are looking for work or that are dissatisfied with their current job and maybe looking to work that reach out to you. So that's one of the things business I think typically look to do is they think about what's our marketing plan for building revenue, and they neglect to think about their product, which in this business is your database of qualified candidates.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we need to make certain we're doing both of those, and you can do them right away. We can do them remotely. There's a lot of companies who offshore that business of sourcing out to foreign countries. We really haven't done much of that, but that's another option you can use.
Right. And so
And I thought you had a follow up because
I did.
I was being polite. Mark.
Thank you. I appreciate
Every
that.
once in a while I'm polite. I
Absolutely.
don't like to talk over you.
Absolutely.
Because usually I do.
Usually you do. So
I
I,
like to
actually,
get
I know
Mark
what I was
a
going
bad
to say is
time.
I read recently, just a few days ago, that LinkedIn really an
Mark
opinion
does read too.
Opinion from someone that LinkedIn is pretty much a job search website. Really, is what it is. That's really what LinkedIn really is, as opposed to business connections. I mean, there are those, but it's really about job search. So, I imagine you had mentioned LinkedIn before. Do you guys find a lot of candidates through LinkedIn?
Absolutely. It's there's a day where they could really become a true competitor to our industry as well. But it started out as one thing and now it's something else. And it's interesting when you deal with the college graduates, the newer entrants into the business market, job market, they don't look at LinkedIn in general the way that the middle-aged professionals do. So there's a lot of coaching that goes on there about that becomes your online resume, and you need to put words in there that are searchable so that when somebody's looking for somebody who has X skill set, your name pops up, and it's definitely a viable tool for our industry.
Does Nelson do any kind of that counseling with people to help them get those words in their resume and on their LinkedIn profile?
Absolutely. Only if they have the skill, though. We don't, don't want to go the other way.
Hey, you should put these 5 things down on your LinkedIn.
Of course, yeah. But if they have
profile.
the skill, help them realize what they need to emphasize of their skill set.
Well, we didn't mentor the Notre Dame coach who lost that job for saying he did something he didn't do. But anyway, so
I recall that.
Yeah, I do too. So anyway, we will definitely help them with that. That's part of our job as a consultant to our candidates to help them find gainful employment. And a lot of folks don't like to brag on themselves. So they understate themselves on paper, and they have to understand that they're looking for incremental differentiation to get themselves in the door and gain an opportunity. So we help them get out of their own way, and if they're willing to be coached, we can help them with that.
I mean, it's resume building. My son at the University of Michigan is in their engineering program. The thing that they talk to him the most about, build your resume. Right. So from day one as a freshman, what are you going to do this summer? What are you going to do next summer? Start building your resume.
Build your resume.
Then when it's time to graduate, you have this resume where you're completing your resume that's going to grab someone, right? Because you've done all these things. Because I would think a lot of times that you're looking for someone, what have you done? I know you have a degree. I see your GPA, but really, what have you done?
Yeah, well, we'll get into that a little bit more when we come back from the break. We're talking with Tony Bartenetti, the CEO and president
Are we going to come back again?
And Nelson staff, and we've got
one
more comeback.
Oh, one more comeback.
One more comeback, Rick.
10-point comeback?
Yep.
Oh, don't hurt yourself,
I
Mark.
know. Ouch.
Hi, I'm Michael Andrews, host of About Your Money Radio. Straight, no-nonsense talk about all things money. We connect our listeners with accessible resources and industry-proven experts in all areas of financial matters. For market updates and insightful investment knowledge, give me a call at 916-238-8282 or online at aboutyourmoneyradio.com. And join me live for About Your Money Radio, Fridays at 8 a.m. and again at 6 p.m. on Money 105.5.
Need an experienced financial advisor to manage your investments? Rick Ferguson, founder of Ferguson Financial, an independent registered investment advisor, has credentials as a CPA, personal financial specialist, and accredited investment fiduciary, and a combined 30 years of experience in the financial industry. Call Rick Ferguson at 916-941-1535 to schedule an appointment. That's 916-941-1535, or visit our website at www.fergusonfinancial.com for more information. Experience, trust, results. It's what you expect.
As the decision maker of a closely held business, your responsibility goes beyond the numbers. You can't afford shortcuts or mistakes. Mark Bellows, CPA with Galena LLP, provides the insight you need to capitalize on opportunities, avoid pitfalls, and sustain organizational growth. Beyond audit, tax, and other traditional accounting services, Mark has over 25 years' experience providing guidance to businesses, families, and individuals. Call Mark Bellows today at 916-784-7800 to schedule an appointment. Contact Mark Bellows at 916-784-7800 today and gain the insights you need to achieve your goals.
Sacramento's new Money 105.5. Online at money1055.biz.
Part of the Wall Street Business Network.
And we're back. Welcome back to Beyond the Numbers. Money 105.5, part of the Wall Street Business Network. We're talking today with Tony Bartenetti, the COO and president of Nelson and Nelson Staffing. If you want to call into the station, 916-679-1820 or area code 866-576-1055. Well,
hey, Mark. I just have to point something out here.
What's that?
No, you want to ask a question? Go ahead.
Yeah, like on my contact info on the back of my card.
Yeah. So we're comparing business cards here, and
I have a lot. I have my Twitter handle, my LinkedIn.
Mark's,
yeah,
on Mark's.
Phone numbers.
So this is Tony's recommendation. This is Rick's recommendation. Drop LLP. I like that part. On the back, oh God, too much stuff there, Mark.
Nah, there's
way too much stuff. If you look at Rick's card or Tony's card, you have, very, very nice. You see, the information's there.
It's not enough.
And then on the back, look at that.
Values.
Values, nice.
Exactly. Tony's excellence, integrity, empathy, innovation, experience, trust, results. It's what you expect. It's very, very good, Tony. So we need to introduce Tony to someone at Galena to help them with their business cards. No, I'm just kidding.
But what has changed in the last 17 years you've been there with the way interviews go on nowadays? We were talking about interviewing a little bit before. I'd imagine that's changed some over the years. I mean, do you see Skype interviewing now? Do you see?
That's a good question.
Yeah, those types of things.
So Skype is absolutely in play, and I'd say the change of interviews has been more so that people are migrating away from them. So in the Valley, they're finding that they're better off doing a pre-employment assessment of the candidates, various assessments to see what type of fit they'd be in their corporate environment and for the job that they're being hired for, because they've been duped repeatedly in interviews by good salespeople who speak a great game, but when they get there to deliver first day, they don't show up as the same person that was in the interview room.
Right.
The excuses start flowing, and I didn't know I wasn't going to have this, and I can't do my job like that. Those types of things. So there's been a current I've heard about in the HR community, mostly in the Silicon Valley, that maybe they're moving away from interviews. One of the things Nelson had brought, and this is what Gary Nelson was, an HR professional, and moved into this business thinking he could offer a better solution. He brought pattern interviewing. And it really looks at what you mentioned earlier, Rick. It looks at what somebody has done and what they will do versus what they can do.
Right.
So when you're interviewing somebody, and in today's world, people move around a lot more from job to job for various different reasons.
Yeah.
But if you look at somebody go back 10 years ago and they moved jobs a lot, this person's a job hopper. When do they make a commitment? When do they stay? When do they work on their career path? That type of thing. There's a pattern that's been created. And those patterns, if you look at them in your personal life and if you look at them in your professional life, those patterns, if you watch people, they repeat themselves over and over again. So that's what Gary brought to Nelson, and that's what we use, is a really strict pattern interviewing process, which has allowed us to do a better job of hiring. So to go back to your question at the higher level, yeah, we see Skype, obviously, conference calls, those types of things are all going on, but the assessment is making more and more a play into how companies hire their employees. We use a behavioral assessment for Nelson, and we also, for our sales team, use a sales assessment to look at what the candidate's sales ability is, where there would be opportunities for us to groom them and educate them, coach them, and then also where their strengths are, so that we know when we hire somebody where we need to spend our onboarding time. We have a general onboarding program, but we can focus it for that individual to help them be successful.
It sounds like a really good model. I like that, the focused onboarding.
I'm trying to remember the name of the company, and the company's name doesn't matter, but we had one of our kids go through an assessment just like that, and they said it was most important when they're younger because they haven't been trained to do something yet, to find out what would be the best major in terms of when they go to college. So they did tests in terms of, folding up a piece of paper and, putting a hole in it, saying, okay, in the different quadrant, where is the hole going to be? Did, some math scenarios, did some English scenarios, did a vocabulary, just, very small. It wasn't like an SAT or ACT test, but did assessments to see where truly your skill set is for you as an individual, where you have those strengths. I mean, it was very, very interesting. And I thought, wow, that's, every person between the age of 17 through 20 should do something like this, because it really sees where they have natural gifts. And, and that's probably where you should be migrating towards that.
Yeah, that would be really valuable if the high schools.
Yeah, I just found that very interesting.
So how do you, real quick, we've got a couple minutes left, but you'd mentioned you're doing international placement as well. So do you guys look for candidates internationally? Is that what you do? You go into a market and look for X number of people in this particular city or region, or how has that worked?
Not that grand. So we have made placements, and we will do that for clients outside of the U.S. More so what we're doing globally would be that I Work Global, the 1099, or the compliance, the local compliance by country. But we have made placements in foreign countries, though, with clients. So but it's not a major play for us right now.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you can go global.
Well, then there's so much going on here right now, local. The demand is so high. What we really need to be looking at, which is valuable to share today, is how do we help coach up or train up the folks that aren't working right now, so they have the skill sets that they can get the jobs that are available right now. That's really where we're at, with unemployment being in Marin below 4% and San Francisco below 5% for skilled labor. How do we get those folks that aren't working to work? So it gets into developing certification programs, working with the colleges, the local colleges that have certification programs, and getting those folks into our database and out to the clients.
So Nelson does that? Nelson does that type of work with the various what you just mentioned?
Yes,
wow,
absolutely.
That's great.
Absolutely. The one I'm most proud of is that we developed a certification program for game development testers, for QA testers. When the mobile gaming came to the U.S., we were lagging behind the United States, behind the Europe and Asia. Dramatically behind them. But then when the mobile gaming started coming here, they started to hire away all the QA testers that were console-based gaming professionals. So there weren't experienced professionals for these gaming companies to hire. So we worked with 3 clients and developed a certification program that they would allow us to put those candidates in front of them in lieu of having experience, but having gone through the certification program, they could get hired. So that helped a lot of new people get into the gaming industry.
Oh, that's great. That's great, Tony. Tony Bartenetti, COO and President of Nelson and Nelson Staffing. Tony, thank you for being on the show today.
Absolutely.
It's been great learning more about Nelson and Nelson Staffing. And,
I might come back.
What you guys are doing. We hope so.
Anytime.
Anytime.
Rick and Mark,
we may not get another mug.
Or a chip.
Or a chip.
And, and a poker chip, or it could be a golf marker.
By the way, can I just say, Donna, if you're listening, they told me I need to golf more.
Yeah,
absolutely.
He needs to golf more.
If you want to get a hold of
We're
Tony,
going to meet to talk about that.
Tony, we'll have a meeting. Tony's cell phone is 510-508-4386. The office number is 925-460-8100. And their website is www.nelsonjobs.com. And again, we appreciate you coming out from Danville today to join us on the show here.
Thank you.
Beyond the Numbers, it's one of the top 100 business shows in the United States.
Yeah, according to
Impact Radio.
Impact Radio. And next week we actually have Randall Sellen and David Chavez from the kitchen, Sellen Restaurants, Ella Restaurants on the show, and that should be.
And they're bringing in food for all of us to eat.
And I should
brunch items.
I should ask their PR marketing person if they could bring in a little something for us to munch on while we're talking and interviewing them. That's a great idea, Mark.
Thank you,
I
Rick.
knew you're a great co-host for some reason.
Yeah,
you have very good ideas,
man.
even though you need some work on your business card.
Thanks. And I will be shaving my head in 1 month. Remember,
That's
St.
right.
Baldrick's. Don't forget, St. Supporting Keaton Raphael Memorial. Please,
great
charity
charity
organization.
And
Thanks,
I'm
everyone.
gonna
Have a
give.
great Wednesday.